Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes, and tonight we are getting the reveal of the next legendary hero to drop into the game in just a few short days. Now, full disclosure, I actually did spoil myself. I did see that it is Byleth before actually watching the trailer. I haven't watched the trailer, but I did get spoiled on the title, unfortunately, this time around. So while I know it's Byleth, we will still at least get a fresh look at the art and the animations as we watch the trailer together for the first time. So let's get started. Alrighty. A new legendary hero joins the battle. Oh, it's going to be a mage Byleth? The Fódlan Star. It's going to be male Byleth as well. Green tome user, infantry, okay. Professorial text. Got an ideal skill, Sublime Heaven for the special here. Lull skill for the B slot, and... oh, that is awesome! That animation is amazing! Little Sothis cheerleader here, what do we got? Got the emblem. Oh man, or the crest. Alright. I mean, looks good. Got Alm as well as Julia. Okay, Leaf and Leaf. Bramimond. Alright, Hell. Plumeria. Anand. Okay. Aranis. Dagger. Not. That's pretty decked out banner. Like, even the non-legendary heroes are all pretty powerful. So starting on June 30th and all the way until July 6th, so as usual, one full week to summon on this legendary hero banner, we're getting Byleth. I mean, if people were Three Houses fatigued before, the train's not stopping now, apparently. I was actually thinking that they were going to temper things. I was not expecting a Byleth today, just because we have been getting so much Three Houses representation. I was expecting them to mix it up a little bit, but I guess they want to just keep this train going. So it's going to be Byleth, it's going to be male Byleth, a green male Byleth, and a green tome male Byleth. So a couple of curveballs thrown in there, I would say. But let's rewind to take a closer look at his skills as well as the banner as a whole to see how I would prioritize the actual colors and sort of rank them across the banner, as well as determine whether or not in my personal opinion, it's worth summoning for Byleth himself. The goddess gifted me her power. Here he is. All right. So here he is with a striking mix of ceremonial robes and armor, giant tome in his hand, dagger at his hip. The art is gorgeously detailed. I love the shading. The metallic highlights of the outfit itself are really reflective. You get this sort of depth of color, which is really nice, and sort of these regal elements to the gold. It's really exceedingly busy. I'm borderline gaudy, to be honest with you, but it is very impressive, just the amount of detail that's sort of crammed into his outfit here. I think he looks great, and again, he is a green tome user, which is not what I was expecting. Professorial text, so it's going to be a 14 might green tome, accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1, so a killer slaying effect, that is excellent. If a unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants +5 to all stats during combat, and also if unit speed is greater than foe speed during combat, neutralizes effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks and effects that prevent units follow-up attacks. Okay. Allies within 2 spaces gain if unit speed is greater than foe speed during combat, neutralize effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks, and effects that prevent units follow-up attacks. Okay, alright. So killer slaying effect is always excellent. The condition for the weapon is exceptionally easy to meet, just as long as he's either player phasing or within 2 spaces of an ally. That is not going to be difficult for anybody to accomplish. +5 to all stats across the board, that is definitely solid in combat buffs. And here's the real kicker, both he and his allies within 2 spaces gain the effect of as long as they have speed above their opponent during combat. It's a during combat speed check. It neutralizes guaranteed follow-up attacks and preventing follow-up attacks. So the speed check is important because, of course, that is how you would naturally double somebody. And so as long as the speed is above the opponent, that would be when you would want to nullify prevent follow-up attacks, right? So essentially, he just kind of clears the board as far as enemies preventing Wary Fighter or Bold Fighter or Quick Riposte, any of those skills that end up guaranteeing follow-up attacks, any specialized skills that guarantee follow-up attacks. So that's really interesting. It's relatively short and sweet in what it does, but it's essentially an equalizer. Like it sets the playing field back to neutral as far as going back to the speed check, right? And not preventing you from following up attacking when you naturally double somebody. It's bringing it back to nature, with all of these fun tools out there to force follow-ups and prevent follow-ups. This kind of like sets it to neutral as long as you outspeed your opponent, which makes a lot of sense. You want to outspeed your opponent if you're going to naturally double them, right? So that's when it's most important as well. And you can technically build an entire team around Byleth's effect here, because you could have a team that just utilizes sweep skills, and the buff that this bestows upon allies will prevent you from having the negative effects of the sweep skill. So that's actually pretty interesting too. You'd be able to actually utilize this to fashion an entire team that's built around utilizing those skills. He has his own unique special, Sublime Heaven. It's 2-turn cooldown. Boosts damage by 25% of units attack. Okay. If in combat against a dragon or beast foe, boosts damage by 50% instead of 25%. Disables non-special skills that reduce damage by X%. Okay. I mean, that's just super solid. Disabling damage reduction, where we have damage reduction everywhere. This disables damage reduction on any skills that aren't specials. That's pretty solid. And then again, boost damage by 25% of units attack. That's very good for a 2 cooldown special. And then against beast and dragon foes, it's 50%, a whopping 50% damage. That's pretty awesome. Attack defense ideal 4 at start of combat if unit's HP is equal to 100%, or if bonus is active on unit. Grants attack defense plus 7 to unit during combat. At start of combat, if unit's HP is equal to 100% and bonus is active on unit, grants an additional attack defense plus 2 to unit during combat. The ideal skills are pretty good. It's easy to plan ahead and have an activated buff on Byleth to make sure that he always has at least the plus 7 to attack and defense, and then of course at full health, he'll also have the additional plus to it. So it grants the plus 9 to attack and defense in the best case scenario. Lull attack res 3 for the B slot, inflicts attack res minus 3 on foes, and neutralizes foes' bonuses to attack and res during combat, those activated buffs. The lull skills are awesome. This is just going to let him do more damage and take less damage, which is exactly what you want. And then times pulse 3 for the C slot. At start of turn, if special cooldown count is at its maximum value, grant special cooldown count minus 1. So that obviously works exceptionally well with Sublime Heaven and Professorial Text, because Professorial Text gives a killer slaying effect, so Sublime Heaven has a 1-turn cooldown essentially at the start of a turn. Times Pulse is essentially going to give him an additional special charge, so he is going to start the turn with Sublime Heaven charged and ready to proc. So that's intimidating. That's certainly intimidating. Byleth is going to be a special chaining green mage that's just going to do a lot of damage on player phase, and is going to use Sublime Heaven to basically nullify a lot of tanky units out there that rely on damage reduction. At a base level, that's what he provides. I think what the more interesting twist to him is really the utility that he provides to a team setting with the secondary effect of Professorial Text, which again is neutralizing the effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks and prevent units follow-up attacks, and being able to bestow that upon all allies within 2 spaces. I think that's actually really powerful. I think it's more powerful than it first seems when taking a look at this at face value. Being able to just kind of reset everything and all the skills so that your speed takes over, and I'm assuming that he's going to have some pretty impressive speed. Although he doesn't have any speed boosting skills really, which is kind of interesting. Usually when a unit has a really high particular stat line, you have skills that synergize with that and boost that stat line, but I guess we'll have to see what his stat line is ultimately. But at the end of the day, like I said, I think that the overall utility that he grants to a team setting, as well as just being able to fulfill the role of being a green mage nuker that's going to be able to chain that special over and over again, is going to be potent. So Yeah, I mean, he's got some great stuff. I think, again, it's the uniqueness that is most impressive to me about his tome. And then his attacking animation looks so cool, too. They really upped the ante as of late with these attack animations. So I love them. Love to see it.
You cannot stop the flow of time.
And with the crest. All right. So yeah, all right. So do I think that Legendary Byleth is busted? Not particularly, I would say. But actually, more importantly, I think that what he offers is unique and some fun team-building utility. I think you can build teams around him to actually be incredibly effective and essentially sweep an entire map very, very easily by being able to have weapon combinations that you wouldn't normally be able to, paired with sweep skills and things like that, by utilizing Byleth's weapon to be able to neutralize the penalty effects of those sweep skills. So I think that just opens the door to a lot of options, which ultimately I think is really, really important. I think for me personally, rather than a unit being quote-unquote busted, which in most cases it's not busted because the community tends to overstate the effectiveness or the invincibility of a unit or how broken a unit is out there. I think rather than having a quote-unquote busted unit, what's more interesting to me is having one with unique utility, some longevity, that does things that nobody else can offer, basically new fun toys to play with in the game from a strategic standpoint. And I think that is something that Byleth offers here. Now on the banner, he is going to be debuting obviously on this banner as a green, and he is going to be joined by both Dagger and Hell. Honestly, all three of them exceptional. That is a standout color to summon on for sure. If we take a look at red, that is going to be Plumeria alongside Leaf and Anand. Okay, that is pretty solid as well, I have to say. Plumeria, Flying Dancer, Leaf is still pretty powerful today, and Anand is a relatively recent addition to the Flying Sword users, and she comes with some great stuff. So that's pretty up there as well. Let's see, blue is going to be Not. Okay, so we've got Not, we've got Aranis, okay, and we've got Julia. So, yeah, that one's pretty stacked too, I have to say. Not, of course, was available guaranteed if you did summon on the Not and More midpoint banner for Book 5. So that might lower the value of summoning on blue just because of that. If you really wanted Not, it was probably in your best interest to go for the guaranteed Not, because that had the best chance of you getting her. Well, obviously, you're guaranteed to get her, but even on the banner itself, the rate for getting her was higher than it will be here. So I think a lot of people that wanted Not probably already have Not. And then for colorless, we've got Legendary Alm, as well as Leaf and Bramamond. All three of those are really powerful. All three are legendary or mythic heroes. Alm and Leaf, despite their age, still pack a punch. They may not be the absolute powerhouses and carries that they were, but they are still exceedingly strong. Bramamond, still very, very powerful. So I actually think that I would put green on top and all three of the other colors kind of on equal footing below green. And the reason for that is for both blue and red, you have non-limited characters included in there. They're very powerful non-limited characters, but Aranis and Anand are not limited in any capacity. They're in the general summon pool, so you can get them outside of this. They will appear on regular banners as well in the future. For blue also, there's Not, who again, I think a lot of people already have if they did want her, because they could have gotten her guaranteed. Colorless is a little bit of a balancing act too, because despite the age of some of the units on it, they're still pretty powerful, and they're all legendary mythic heroes. So that's kind of my assessment here. There really aren't any bad colors, and for you, when you're deciding on what color that you may want to snipe on, really the rule of thumb on a legendary mythic hero banner is if you wouldn't mind getting 2 of the units on a particular color, it's worth sniping or summoning on that color. So yeah, male legendary Byleth is here. Not what I was expecting in a lot of ways. I wasn't really expecting him, wasn't really expecting his weapon type, and I wasn't really expecting his kit either. So he is just full of surprises, it seems. And I think he debuts on a banner that features a wide array of really interesting and diverse characters. So they're real, again, like I said, I don't think there are any bad colors here. There's no fail colors that you shouldn't be pulling on. I think they all offer something as long as you're missing the units on each of the colors themselves. I will just highlight the fact that Summer Banner number 2 is right around the corner. And for me personally, male legendary Byleth is not a must-have like right out of the gate, so I'm okay with just waiting and kind of doing my first full circle. And letting the banner kind of pass by as we see what else comes down the pipeline. There's also Choose Your Legends, which is not too far off now. It'll be here before you know it, so just be careful with your orb reserves. Again, I don't think that male Byleth is necessarily an absolute must-have. I think that you need to kind of evaluate for yourself if that particular element of his weapon is exceptionally appealing to you, and what strategies you might run. That's how really you should be prioritizing whether you absolutely need male Byleth, or you're just a huge fan of male Byleth, and then of course absolutely summon for him. He's going to be great. So let me know in the comments below if you are excited for legendary Byleth, if you are going to be summoning on this banner, which colors you are going to be going for. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. Certainly hoping you're all staying safe, healthy, secure, and united out there, and wishing the very, very best for you, your family, and your friends. And until next time, let's protect those skies.